Good morning, everybody. Yeah, come on. Let's hear some noise out there. Wake up, Essex Junction. I can't believe it. Well, by the way, my name is Charlie Papillo, and it's so great to be here again, the 5th annual Coming Together event. This is unbelievable. I was talking with Brad just as I was coming in this morning, and I noticed, look at all the cars here. And there are people out there directing traffic. And Brad and I were thinking back to the first summit at Capitol Plaza in Montpelier, and Brad pointed out the numbers. There were 50 people there and, 20 on Zoom? I think we've come a long way. What do you say? Yeah. So this is the 5th year, and looks like we're changing things up a bit. You know, my dream always to be on stage and to have a house band, and it looks like we're getting that today. And we're going electric. How about that? That's amazing. Want to remind everyone the memorial wall over here, if there's somebody that you would like to remember, to please write their name down there. We would hope that you would do that. Also, remember the breakout rooms are right over here, and that's going to be happening right after this summit. So breakout room, concession stand is open if anybody needs coffee or needs a bite, and that's going to be open for lunchtime as well. We have a lot of people here today, and I'd like to recognize someone, if I can see you out there. If I don't see you, maybe the easiest way, we have any legislators here today. Would you please stand up? Any legislators? I see one. I see another. My good friend Pat Brennan back there. Thank you. I see a candidate in the second row over here, Molly Gray. And first and foremost, and my apologies for not recognizing the Abnaki Circle of Courage with Chief Brenda Gagne. You heard them drumming here. Amazing drumming. Amazing. And I want to tell you, that's just one of the surprises that you'll see and hear here today. Brad and Melinda always do a great job making sure that there's a surprise at some point. In fact, it's such a surprise that Melinda wouldn't even tell me. She said, I can't tell you. So thanks again to everyone for coming. Thanks to the sponsors. And Brad and Melinda can speak to this because this event would not happen without the support of the sponsors. So thanks to our gold sponsors, the City of Essex, the Town of Essex, and GBIC. Our silver sponsors, Higher Ability, Champlain Toxology, Granite Recovery, GW Tetro, Valley Vista, Vermont Department of Health, the Division of Substance Use, Savita Health, I just met somebody from Savita, nice to meet you, and Brayburn. Our bronze supporters, VITAR, Smart Recovery, Peer Recovery Center of Addison County, Divided Sky, Lund, NCSS, Peak Outcome Partners, the New Life Christian Church, VAPA, Santa at Stowe, Lizzie's Lasting Light, Vermont State University, Trail Run for Recovery, Chip Piper, and Genesis Reference Labs. In-kind sponsors, Champlain Valley Expo, WCAX TV, CCTV, Turning Point of Franklin County, and Jenna's Promise. Thank you to Fawn Montaigne Consulting, Ezra Mulheron, and team for tech today, and all of the volunteers that are here with us today. Would you please stand up, take a bow, and we'll give you a round of applause. Come on. Don't be shy. Stand up. So we're going to start things off with the founders of this summit and good friends. We're going to first bring up Melinda White, Turning Point Recovery Coach Supervisor in the Emergency Department. She's also in long-term recovery and known for hosting and producing the TV show recovery rock star. Yeah, she's a rock star. It's aired through Northwest Access TV, among other hats. With a heart for people and families struggling with addiction, Melinda's goal in life is to be of maximum service to God and her fellows. Won't you please welcome Melinda White.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm going to be quick because I'm going to be coming up later. So this morning I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who's here. Thank you to our sponsors, our volunteers, to the venue. This event, it's our 5th annual. It continues to grow. It continues to get more beautiful, and we're going to be sharing about things that have gone in a wonderful direction in the last 5 years, areas that need more work that we are committed to continue working on, and more than anything, just celebrating recovery. This is a big year for us. So a friendly reminder, if you're a person in recovery, there are stations throughout the building with blank paper. If you're comfortable, write your length of recovery in the paper, sit down at your chair, wait for the cue, you'll know when you know. Thank you for being here, everyone.
And it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Brad Ferlin, lifelong Vermonter. Also, I got to say, a longtime friend. I've known Brad for, we guessed the other day, I guess at least 25 years. Brad has been involved in personal recovery for over 20 years. He and his daughter have a small farm in St. Albans where they breed and raise sheep, have 2 Norwegian elk hounds, and there is no truth to the story that we've tried to propagate over the last couple of years about a penguin farm in Elmore. But if you want to know more about it, just ask Brad. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you about it. We've had a lot of laughs with that April Fool's Day joke that we did 2 years ago. Brad also has a grown-up son and daughter-in-law who he's very proud of. Family is Brad's top priority in life. Won't you please welcome my friend, Brad Ferlin.
Wow. So I'm very grateful to be here and thank all of you for everything you do to save and improve lives. This is an amazing group of people. Many of you are the boots on the ground who make enormous differences every minute and every day. You understand the real world challenges and act with compassion and with love. Thanks to Charlie for emceeing today. He's a true friend and has supported us all through this. And thanks to the sponsors you see listed on posters all around. We couldn't do this without them, and they were amazing. A very special thanks once again to the remarkable superwoman, Melinda White. She is incredible. Last night I went out to our barn and tended to our sheep. We cut a bale of hay open and threw flakes or sections down into the barn. One over here, one over there, one close below me. The sheep moved about munching happily. It's fresh cut hay from fields in Georgia, Vermont, green and delicious for sheep. I filled 2 large buckets with water, and I knew the flock would drink the water down during the night. I did the same routine this morning at about 5 a.m. This is in sharp contrast to about 24 years ago. I had hit a line in the sand moment where I was drinking heavily day and night. The tool of suicide sat closely in my choices. Inside me sat despair from my dad's suicide when I was 8 years old. His death became the music that played within me, and drinking seemed to be the medicine or therapy as my cure. Each autumn, I took a depressive dive towards the day he took his life. It was the feeling of being underwater with no sense of hope. We find in life that there are those things that happen that change our course, things of great magnitude that often we can't control, and they are powerful and they change our lives. This is true for bad, and it's true for good. We learn that mental health and addiction hold hands and walk the same path. We advocate today to view both with close consideration as we seek solutions for recovery. Our summit is in the 5th year. Our summit goals are posted about the building and haven't changed. We are celebrating today in cautious glory. The ball is moving. Our summit goals are showing promise. You will hear today from Dawn Tatro, one of our summit heroes. She and her husband Greg turned tragedy into hope. She is fierce and loving and makes a difference. She taught us to separate the addiction from the person. Tracy Hawk, Lila Bennett do the same. Fight, 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 never say no. Jessica Fike, Amy Brewer, Meredith Martin, Tracy Tomlinson, Pete Andrews, Jeff Morrow, Daniel Franklin, Lisa Lord, heroes among us, and many more. And recently we met Tammy Getchell, amazing mom and amazing employee of the town of Essex. We had a change in Summit sponsorship this year, and Tammy stepped up and found us generous support from Essex City and the town of Essex Junction. One door closed for us, and 2 doors opened. Frank Coffey and GBIC supported us with an amazing sponsorship. The Burlington Area Newspaper Group, 7 Days, St. Albans Messenger Paper Group, Fox Media, WDEV shouted our message from the rooftops to the valleys. You will hear today from Commissioner of Health, Dr. Rick Hildebrandt, about progress and new trends. We are grateful for Monica Hutt, Chief Prevention Officer for the Governor's Office. She's been a valued partner, always allowing for great communication and working for solutions, helping Vermont to move towards meeting our summit goals. Lauren Russu with the Department of Health will show some positive trends reflective of greater recovery efforts. Still a lot of work to do, but it gives us hope. We are seeing more communication between the legal system and law enforcement, state's attorney, judicial, recovery resources, and corrections. We will hear today from Chief Judge Honorable Christina Rice. She gets it and tells it like it is. She's joined by Mark Redmond from Spectrum, a longtime Vermont hero for recovery. In our summit goals, we advocate for getting everyone into some pathway to recovery who wants it. We also believe that those who do continue harm, who are arrested repeatedly, need a timeout for themselves and for public safety. You will hear today from Commissioner Murad about positive changes in correction that are growing. Recovery and correction can change the course of lives, offering hope, offering new chances. David Regal with V4 offering safe, affordable recovery homes statewide. And there are too many more to name. Everyday heroes among us, offering models that work to be shared from the tip of the Northeast Kingdom to the borders of Vernon and Bennington and beyond. 5 years ago, we asked, are our goals possible? Today we know, yes, they are. I personally was very lucky on October 20th, 2003. With help from many others, I started my journey of sobriety. When I put down the last drink, I started to look at and empty things that were in my backpack of destructive journey. In the backpack, I began putting exercise and recovery programs, healthy eating and honesty, hiking rather than hangovers, helping rather than harming, finding love for myself and love for my family, closing one door and opening another. I came to realize that the beautiful start my father gave me for 8 years of my life as he held me warmly in his arms and gave me love. These are the miracles we know. I'm grateful for my son, my daughter, my partner, and her daughters, and all that the universe provides. Getting past the line in the sand, exchanging death for life. Last night I was in the barn with our sheep. We feed, we water, we tend the soil, we find the light. It's an exchange program filled with love. We are all the shepherds, tending our flocks, turning bad into good, giving new chances for life. With this, there is hope. There is always, always, always hope. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Brad. Our next speaker, the Chief Prevention Officer for the state of Vermont, a Senior Policy Advisor in Human Services for Governor Phil Scott. Brad and Melinda refer to her as a champion in Vermont and awarded her the 2025 Substance Use Addiction Summit Award. Won't you please welcome Monica Hutt.
First, I gotta say, that's a lot of wires for someone who's very uncoordinated to get past. So I'm really grateful that I didn't just fall on my face. Good morning, everyone. It's my sincere pleasure to be here today and to have the opportunity to welcome you to this annual summit event. In my role in the governor's office, I get to see firsthand how strongly Governor Scott feels about recovery, and our budgets and our programs over the last few years represent his belief and our belief in the potential for and probability of recovery. Over this last 5.5 years, I've had the opportunity to learn a lot. A lot of that learning has been totally expected. I had to understand the system, I had to learn about the gaps, I had to dig in to understand what needed to be different. But a lot of my learning has been pretty unexpected. It's happened in quiet conversations, in small meetings, at barbecues, and while taking tours at recovery and treatment facilities. Most of my learning, quite honestly, has come from all of you. One of the things that I heard really early on that's really stayed with me was that quote from Johann Hari, where he said the opposite of addiction is community, right? That highlights that isolation can drive substance use and addiction, while social and community connection can be truly healing. With that quote ringing in my head, I started to think about you all. I started to think about the recovery community and the people that I have met in that community. I know, because I've heard it so many times, how important you are to one another. What I think you don't hear often enough is how important you all are to the rest of us, what you teach us every single day. For myself, there are 4 things, important and impactful things, that I've learned from different individuals in recovery that I actually try to practice in my own life. Today, as we celebrate all of you, the journey that you're on, the steps that you've taken, the work that you've done, I thought I would tell you what you've taught me. The first is, don't sweat the small stuff. I get hung up a lot on all the little things. I get buzzing with too many details. I can't always really separate the important from the less important. I sometimes react when I don't need to, and sometimes I don't react when I should. From the people I've met in recovery, I've learned, hey, there's a bigger goal. There's a bigger picture. There's something much more important that you should be focused on. Stay focused there and let go of the little things. Stay present. Don't sweat the small stuff. The second thing I've learned is to be a little less judgmental. You may not know me well, but trust me, I can be a little judgy. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's a place I can go to when I'm stressed or I'm upset. Invariably, the people that I have met who are in recovery are the least judgmental people I know. They share their stories, they share their feelings, they accept you exactly where you are and remind you that you're exactly where you need to be. I'm nowhere close to being that good, but it's a goal that I strive for. It's where I want to be, and I get to see that modeled all the time. The third thing that I have learned and really try to practice and to share is a sense of reverence for my family, both my biological family and my chosen family. Those people who have stuck with me, who are my biggest cheerleaders, who hold me accountable when I'm not at my best, but love me anyway. I've witnessed the way that the individuals I know in recovery talk about their families, the love that they have for them, the way that they express that love openly and honestly. I'm kind of in awe of that genuine ability to say the words and to feel the feelings and to kind of share that publicly. And finally, I have learned that gratitude is affirming and can be so joyful. A phrase I hear a lot in my work, and I hear a lot from individuals that I know in the recovery community, is, "I'm grateful for you." I will admit that that made me really uncomfortable when I started hearing it. Was it like a fancy way of saying thank you? Was it just a little bit too much? It felt like a lot of feeling in a day-to-day conversation. And then I started to kind of realize that through all those people that I was engaging with, that was actually how they saw the world, right? That sharing that gratitude was something that they wanted to be able to do. It was a way of helping people to see how important they were to you in that moment, whether that was a big moment or a little moment. It was a way of showing somebody how much they cared about them. Because gratitude and joy, those go hand in hand, and frankly, we could all use a lot more of both. The opposite of addiction is community, and you as a community offer a model and a path that all of us benefit from. Never forget that the work you're doing, your willingness to share that openly and honestly, it makes us all stronger and better. Never forget that you are teaching us all. I am grateful for all of you. I hope it's a good day.
Our next speaker was appointed Commissioner of Health by Governor Phil Scott and began service on October 13th, 2025. He is honored to lead the talented team at the Department of Health to ensure Vermont remains among the healthiest states in the nation. In fact, I think we just got that recognition in a poll just the other day. Won't you please welcome Dr. Rick Hillebrandt.
Good morning. I'm Rick Hildebrandt, the Commissioner for the Vermont Department of Health, and it's an honor to join so many leaders, providers, community partners, and people with lived experience who are working every day to strengthen recovery in Vermont. I want to thank Melinda and Brad for bringing us together, and each of you for making the time to be here. As I look around this room, I see people dedicated to helping others and to building stronger, healthier communities across our state. Before we go any further, I'd love to take a quick selfie for our social media lead, Carly. She'll love it. All right. Great. A few years ago, the health department adopted a simple phrase: we work for everyone. It reminds us that public health exists to serve every Vermonter, and it connects closely with the theme of this year's summit, I can't, but we can. Recovery is deeply personal, and every person's path is different, but none of us succeeds alone. Recovery is made possible through connection, compassion, and community, and through a system of care that ensures support is available when and where people need it. That vision is central to the department's substance use strategic plan, and today I'd like to share some of the ways we are working with partners across Vermont to make it a reality. One priority has been strengthening the continuum of care so that everyone can move from treatment into longer-term recovery with the right support at each stage. Over the past several years, we have worked with provider organizations to expand access to residential substance use treatment, which offers the stability, structure, and time people need before taking the next step in recovery. In the past 2 years, more than 40 new treatment beds have opened through Recovery House Inc.'s McGee House in Rutland and Valley Vista's location in Virgins. Those beds represent more than capacity. They represent more Vermonters able to begin recovery in a safe and supportive setting, and I want to thank both organizations for their outstanding partnership. Expanding treatment capacity has also made another gap clearer. Many people complete residential treatment ready to move forward, but still need stable housing and ongoing support. Vermont simply does not have enough recovery housing to meet that need. That's why we're using rural health transformation funding to expand recovery residences across the state. These safe and supportive home-like environments allow people to continue their recovery, strengthening community connections, and build stability. We're moving forward with 11 grants representing a combined investment of $8 million. That's right. This funding will support new residences, expanded operations, organizational readiness, training, and the infrastructure needed to sustain them, with additional capacity expected to begin operating in 2027. But capacity is only one part of a strong system. People must also be able to trust the quality and safety of the services they receive. During the last legislative session, the Health Department worked closely with the recovery community partners on Act 103. This law establishes a statewide system for certification of recovery residences, ensuring consistent standards, stronger accountability, improved data collection, and better long-term oversight. More importantly, it will help ensure that Vermonters living in recovery residences are receiving services in environments that are safe, supportive, and worthy of their trust. We're applying that same commitment to quality across the broader recovery support system. Last year, we launched certification for recovery service organizations, and I'm proud to share that all 12 of Vermont's recovery centers are now certified. This creates a shared foundation for quality, consistency, and accountability across Vermont's recovery support system. In partnership with the Office of Professional Regulation, we also established certification of peer recovery support specialists, building on the expertise of Vermont's certified recovery coaches. Today, 66 Vermonters have earned that certification and are using lived experience, hope, and connection to help others navigate recovery. Alongside these investments in capacity, quality, and workforce, innovation is helping us make the system easier to navigate and connect people to the right support at the right time. This summer, in partnership with the Department of Corrections, state and local law enforcement, and Recovery House, Inc., we launched Vermont's virtual public inebriated program screening tool statewide. Previously, an officer encountering someone incapacitated by substance use could spend hours waiting for an in-person assessment. Now officers can connect virtually with trained Recovery House staff who conduct the screening and help determine the safest and most appropriate placement. One participating agency reported reduced screening time from approximately 2 hours to about 30 minutes. That means quicker access to the appropriate setting for the person in need and more time for officers to serve their communities. It's a practical example of how coordination and technology can improve care while reducing pressure on other parts of our system. We're also working with the Department of Mental Health to bring certified community behavioral health clinics, or CCBHCs, to Vermont. These clinics integrate mental health, substance use, and physical health care, as well as other supports. The goal is a more accessible front door to care, where people can receive help regardless of age, insurance status, ability to pay, or where they live. Rather than asking individuals and families to navigate disconnected systems, CCBHCs organize care around the needs of the person. While much of this work focuses on connecting people with care and supporting recovery, our responsibility begins long before someone enters treatment, with prevention. Investments in primary prevention are among the most effective ways to reduce the impact of substance use disorder on our communities. Our 4 Vermont Prevention Lead Organizations, or VPLOs, partner with their communities to fund strategies that respond to local needs and build on local strengths. Our regional prevention consultants support this work through technical assistance, consultation, and community engagement. But prevention is broader than this. It also includes the work that we do to protect our communities from the full range of harms substance use can cause, especially overdose deaths. As my colleague Lauren will discuss shortly, Vermont has made encouraging progress in this area. That matters, and it reflects the hard work of everyone in this room. Prevention also means preventing infectious diseases such as HIV and hepatitis C, work that our syringe service providers carry out every day. SSPs play an important role in our communities by connecting people with services and resources as they move through their own recovery. This work is not always easy, and we do not always agree on how or where it is best done. But I want to remind us that those diverse opinions are a strength, not a weakness. They enrich our understanding, they challenge us to listen carefully, and ultimately strengthen our response. The same commitment to preventing harm requires us to adapt as the drug supply and patterns of substance use continue to evolve. In 2024, nearly 3 out of every 4 overdose deaths in Vermont involve cocaine, a dramatic increase from previous years. VT HelpLink, Vermont's Alcohol and Drug Support Center, is also receiving a growing number of calls related to cocaine use. In response, the Health Department has partnered with experts at the University of Vermont to expand contingency management across the state. This approach provides positive reinforcement to help people make and sustain healthy changes and has been particularly effective for people with stimulant use disorder. Today, 15 providers offer contingency management at 20 locations across Vermont. Even as we respond to the growing impact of stimulants, we cannot overlook the substance that continues to affect more Vermonters than any other: alcohol. Alcohol remains the leading substance of concern in Vermont and contributes to health impacts across every stage of life. This year, nearly 2/3 of the more than 1,500 contacts to VT HelpLink have involved people seeking help for alcohol use. That is why investing in campaigns such as One Less, which explains the health benefits of drinking less, and resources such as Well and Wiser, which describes how alcohol affects us differently as we age. We also continue to reach young people through prevention messages about alcohol's effect on developing brains and long-term health. At the same time, we are increasing awareness of medications for alcohol use disorder so that providers and Vermonters know about treatment options that can support long-term recovery. When I look across all of these efforts, expanding treatment beds, investing in recovery housing, strengthening certification standards, supporting prevention, building our workforce, embracing innovation, and responding to evolving substance use trends, I see something larger than a collection of individual programs. I see partnership. None of this happens because of one agency, one organization, or one person. It happens because treatment providers, recovery centers, peer support specialists, law enforcement, policymakers, community partners, families, and people with lived experience all bring their strengths to the table. That is why I can't, but we can. That's what that truly means. And that's why we at the Health Department are committed to working for and with everyone. Thank you for the work that you do every day, for the compassion you bring to it, and for coming together to make Vermont a place where everyone has the opportunity to recover and thrive. Thank you.
Our next speaker leads a team of analysts at the Vermont Department of Health, working with substance use data, including data on overdoses, risk, and protective factors, and prevention efforts. Before joining the Health Department, she worked in refugee resettlement and academia. Won't you please welcome Lauren Resu.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here. So I'm going to talk about data. I'm going to be somewhat brief, just to give you sort of an overview of where we are currently, what we know about overdoses. This is a very small chunk of the data that we have available. And I just want to say I am sitting at a table out there. So if you have more questions about the data, want to talk to me more about any of this or anything else, please come find me after this. I'm happy to talk your ear off about our data. So I am mostly going to be talking about overdoses here, and mostly about overdose deaths. I'm going to be showing you numbers that are very dry, but we really know, and we always want to recognize that each one of these numbers represents a person, a life, and the lives of the people around them. So we never forget about that, even when we're doing sort of our data analysis, anything that looks a little dry. We know that there's humanity behind all these numbers. We never forget that. So good news, all drug overdose deaths have decreased by 37% since 2022. We saw 170 deaths in 2025, so we're very happy to see that decrease. But you will notice that we're still above where we were before COVID. So we still have a lot more work to do. And there's some concern that this decrease might be leveling off nationally in Vermont. So we're very happy with these results, but there's still a lot more to do, as I'm sure everybody in this room is aware. We get asked a lot about what substances we're seeing that are involved in overdose deaths. Here are the ones that are sort of most commonly involved and have been most commonly involved in the past decade. Interestingly, in 2025, that you can see the number of deaths where fentanyl and cocaine contributed are equal. So as Dr. Hildebrand said, we're really seeing more stimulant involvement in deaths recently, and mostly cocaine here in Vermont. One other thing we really like to point out with this particular graph is that, I don't know how well you can see it, but xylazine really dropped dramatically from 2024 to 2025. There's a 67% decrease in that 1 year span, which is really wonderful for us to see. And that seems to be continuing into 2026 as far as we can tell with deaths. I see some of you taking your phone. All of this information is also available on our website. So you can also go to our website and find it, so you don't have to take sort of poor screenshots on your phone, or come see me again after and we can talk there. These are other substances that are of interest, either because we here in Vermont know that they're sort of up and coming in Vermont, or they've been part of the national conversation. You can see that there's not a ton of deaths related to any one of these substances, but these are things that we're tracking. So gabapentin, there are 9 deaths in 2025. Orthomethylfentanyl, which is pretty new to Vermont and new nationally, it's a fentanyl analog. We saw 7 deaths. Bromazolone, 6 deaths. Acetylfentanyl, which is not particularly new, but something we're tracking. Carfentanil, we're very concerned about. It's so potent. We know it's here. So we're definitely keeping an eye on that one. Medetomidine, we're not seeing a lot of deaths related to medetomidine. There have been none so far that we've seen in 2026, but we know it's here. We know it's affecting people. It just may not be what is contributing to deaths, but it's something that we are aware of and looking at very closely. And ketamine, 1 death in 2025, but it's something, again, nationally that's been sort of on the rise. So we're really keeping a good eye on that. Oh, and then just to point out, right, we had no deaths in 2025 involving nitazines or kratom. Again, keeping an eye on it. We have had 2 deaths related to kratom in 2026. They're out-of-state residents, so we're not sure what's going on there, but again, tracking it. And lastly, as Dr. Hildebrand again mentioned, we are also very aware that we spend a lot of time talking about overdoses, overdose deaths, ED visits related to overdoses. However, there are far more ED visits in Vermont related to alcohol poisoning than any other substance, than all drugs combined, or cannabis poisoning, or any of these other substance-related encounters. So there's a lot of work, of course, that is happening and still needs to happen with alcohol. And it's something that we can't forget when we're looking at the data and looking at all the work that is happening. So that is it. I didn't want to take up a lot of time here, but again, if you want more of this, please come see me. I'm happy to talk about any of this. So thank you very much for all being here.
All right, I think we're ready for a surprise. Melinda, would you please come up along with Kevin Kimball? Come on up.
So my name is Melinda White. I'm a person in long-term recovery. My recovery date is December 28, 2011, and all of the glory and thanks goes to God and all the people that paved the way for me. And mom and husband and auntie and family. So I just want to briefly touch on a couple of people. This afternoon, as you saw in the agenda, we have a breakout room called the Recovery Panel Breakout Room. It's one of my favorites because this is where we get to hear miracles share their story. I asked 3 individuals if I could have their permission just to touch on a little bit to give you a flavor, so you'll go to the breakout room at 1:30. So the first person I'm going to mention is somebody that I haven't known for extremely long, and when I first saw him, he had a light in him that he didn't see but others saw. He was still pretty skeptical about, does recovery really work? Can it work for me? He had shared his story about how he had destroyed his health, his family relationships, everything due to his substance use, and eventually went to jail and was introduced to a recovery coach in Marble Valley. And that recovery coach started explaining some of the solutions and options and got this person committed to wanting to walk the journey. They also wanted to get off all substances, including medications, and they ended up going to Divided Sky for an extended time, which this person describes as building a solid foundation. And from Divided Sky, he went to the Vermont Foundation of Recovery residence, where I live in St. Albans, Vermont. And he started visiting our recovery center because there are some strict requirements when people live in recovery residences, which I love because I know I needed structure when I was new. And one of those include that if you're not currently employed, you need to do volunteer hours. This person came to our recovery center, the Turning Point of Franklin County, to do some volunteer hours, plus he was doing his recovery meetings. He was going to Howard Center's intensive outpatient program. He was going to the Restorative Justice Center, meeting weekly with staff there for support. He got a recovery coach, started meeting with that coach regularly, got a sponsor in a 12-step program. He did all the things that are recommended and few people tend to really kind of do. Granted, I think he did residential treatment 19 times, 16 times, more than 15 times, so it took a little bit of time before he was convinced to do all the right things. But I just want to have him stand up because this is one of my favorite miracles I get to work with now. Matt D'Alessio. Another person I'm going to mention is somebody that I had met, whoa, I guess I should have lifted that earlier. Somebody that I met in the emergency department. I guess I should back up. So my employment title, my career is in recovery coaching supervisor in the emergency department. So I'm an employee of the Turning Point of Franklin County, and I'm embedded within the emergency department of Northwestern Medical Center. And this individual I met in a hospital bed, and I remember feeling such a kind soul underneath such a broken person. And I remember leaving the hospital thinking, I hope that dude lives at least a day or two, because I don't think he has more than 48 hours looking at him. His health was diminished. It's like he didn't have the glow and the light that we see when people are in recovery, but I could feel there was something special about him. And then I remember about a year and a half later, I was at a potluck at the Vermont Adult and Teen Challenge program, and there was this gentleman dressed up nicely and pouring water in the pitchers, and I thanked him, and he looked really familiar, but I couldn't place it. And then they have the guys go up later and they start singing, and as soon as he started singing, I couldn't stop crying because I put it together. That was the person that I didn't know if he'd live another 2 days, and there he was singing. And I am going to ask him to wave. Randy LaFar. Stand up a little longer. Thank you. Randy's also going to be in the recovery breakout room. And the last person, I don't know if I've seen her yet, but I don't have my glasses, but I'm still going to tell a brief overview. So a young lady that I've known since I was in school. She was a little bit younger than me. She kind of surfaced in my life off and on over the last probably 10-ish years. Sometimes I'd see her, she looked like she was going to die any minute. Other times she was running from the law. Warrants most of the time that I've known her. Sometimes she'd contact me from incarceration. And then finally it got to a point where she was calling me from the facility regularly. And she said she really wanted it this time, and I could hear the it factor, and I was really hoping that this time she would cling on. And she's clung on with dear life, and she's now at the Jenna's Promise program, which has done wonders. She is, when I saw her in person after having seen her back in her using days, it was hard to believe it was the same person. And she's just a glowing light, and I see something really special in her. Tanya, are you here? There she is. Thank you. Tanya will also be in the recovery breakout room this afternoon. So before I jump into the next piece, I'm going to ask my dear friend over here. I kind of refer to Kevin as like my Linus blanket. You know how like if Linus was nervous, he'd grab his blanket and that was his comfort. So I have to believe the reason that there's really been no anxiety in my body like usual. It's because I got my Linus blanket. Are you interested in saying maybe a couple words of why you were open to doing this?
Oh yeah, a couple of things. First and foremost, if Melinda asks me to do something, I do it. Because she's a rock star.
Aww.
And the other thing is, it gave me a chance to get up in front of so many people. My wife and I our family went through 18 years of addiction with my son, Jason. And I know many of you probably are involved in saving his life at time to time. But now he's been sober for 2 years. And and he's working on getting his electrician's license. And thank you all so much for what you do. And it's been a hard road, and I appreciate you.
So the last thing I'm going to do is have everybody, we're going to take a moment of silence. As you know, there's a memorial wall, and this is where we write the name of our loved ones who have passed due to the disease of addiction. We're going to take a moment to honor those names.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. I spent so much time down on my knees, trying to find the answers, some sweet relief. You hear all my prayers, even words I can't speak. And I know your best work is done when I'm weak, when I can barely sing. You will be my soul. to the floor. I'm standing strong 'cause you're who I'm leaning on, who I'm leaning on. And I'll bring my heart felt, been through hell, hallelujah. I'll bring my storm-tossed, torn-sail story to tell, hallelujah. Oh, 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 oh. God, you've been patient, God, you've been gracious, faithful, whatever I'm feeling or facing. I'll bring my heartfelt, it is well, hallelujah.
I don't always feel it, but that's when I need it the most. I'ma keep on singing till my soul catches up with my song. There's times when my hands go up freely, times that it costs. There's days when my praise comes out easy, days that it takes all the strength that I've got. I'll bring my heartfelt, been through hell, hallelujah. I'll bring my storm-tossed, torn-sail story to tell, hallelujah. God, you've been patient, God, you've been gracious, faithful, whatever I'm feeling or facing. I'll bring my heartfelt, it is well, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
When I can barely sing, you will be my song. When I can barely breathe, you will fill my lungs. When my faith is falling to the floor, I'm standing strong 'cause you're who I'm leaning on, who I'm leaning on, who I'm leaning on. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Give yourselves a hand.
I don't know, Melinda. You set the bar. It's going to be tough for the speakers coming up after this. I told you she was a rock star, right? Thank you, Kevin, as well. And I know Guy Page, my friend Guy Page, and a fellow in radio, as well as you're just into radio now, but journalist for many, many years, of course, in the Burlington, Colchester area for helping with that flash mob. Now, that's not the first time you've done a flash mob, right? So if you want to do a flash mob, you can contact Guy, and he can set you up with it. Is that right? All right. And you got a radio show to do, don't you? Noontime on WVMT. I'll give you a plug. Why not? I'm good about that. Thank you. Chronicle Conversations, WVMT, noontime, 101.3 and 6:20 a.m. I should know that. I worked there for 20 some odd years, right? Well, as I mentioned, it's going to be tough. So I think we got the right guy coming up here. He can handle it. Commissioner of the Vermont Department of Corrections, a post that he's held since being appointed by Governor Phil Scott in August of 2025. Prior to that, he spent more than 2 decades in law enforcement. Lives in Burlington with his wife, Vonnie, and their children, MacArthur and Katie Elizabeth. Won't you please welcome the Commissioner of the Vermont Department of Corrections, John Murad.
Yeah, that is very hard to follow. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Murad. I'm the Commissioner for the Vermont Department of Corrections. Thank you, Charlie. It's a real honor to be here with all of you, and I was incredibly grateful for Brad's and Melinda's invitations. I'm grateful to be here with all of the incredible sponsors and the service providers. The Department of Corrections, our responsibility is providing court-ordered custody and supervision with compassion and care. And a major part of that care, our desire to provide what Secretary Jenny Samuelson of the Agency of Human Services, who's here in the audience and who is the secretary over both the Department of Health and the Department of Corrections, calls a community level of care. A huge part of that community level care is medication-assisted treatment, or MAT. This is an evidence-based approach that combines FDA-approved medications and counseling and behavioral therapies. And for DOC, the goal is to help prisoners who come to us suffering from substance abuse, to help them manage withdrawal symptoms, help them reduce cravings, help them prevent relapse. Vermont was the second correctional system in the country to implement this across the board so that anyone coming into our custody gets screened. And we've done it for about 8 years, providing the medicine part of MAT, which is mostly buprenorphine, as part of something that is now more commonly called MOUD, or medications for opioid use disorder. Of the 1,500 people that are incarcerated in Vermont, 58% are getting MOUD. And that is a really striking fact. It highlights the degree to which addiction can be a factor in criminal behaviors. But true MAT also addresses the psychological and behavioral aspects of addiction. And so, very recently, as part of the 14-point plan that Governor Phil Scott created to address long-standing public safety issues in Burlington, AHS and DOC have launched a new enhanced substance use disorder treatment, or ESUD. And earlier this month, I attended a ceremony at Northwest State Correctional Facility in Swanton, where 5 men were recognized as the graduates of our first cohort of the DOC's 12-week ESUD program. And just this past Tuesday, I attended a ceremony at the Chittenden Regional Correctional Facility in South Burlington, where our first 4 women also completed this 12-week program. 9 people is a really small number when there are 100 times more people getting MOUD. But just like moving from that silver chip to the red chip, it is a start. It is one day at a time. Our healthcare provider, WellPath, describes ESUD as an evidence-based model that is designed to promote sustained, long-term recovery from substance use disorders and criminal behaviors. And our participants get more than 9 hours per week for 12 weeks of group sessions and one-on-one therapy to learn coping skills and relapse prevention strategies and tools to replace addictive and criminal thinking patterns. And at both ceremonies, what was really important to me and what really struck me was the deep appreciation that these graduates had for the program and for their clinicians, the people that had helped them get to this point, but more importantly, the vulnerability that they showed in talking about their journeys. I think that vulnerability is ultimately inextricable from recovery. I'll bet some of the folks who just came up and did this amazing thing here felt that that was kind of vulnerable too. And forgive the pun, the amazing piece, but the guy who wrote Amazing Grace, John Newton, published it in 1779. And like a lot of people before him, from St. Augustine or St. Louis or C.S. Lewis after, John Newton lived a pretty profligate and dissolute youth before a moral awakening. His life wasn't easy early on, although it was frequently made more difficult by his own defiance and his own insubordination and his just inability to fit in. He was a person who really only knew how to be hard, who collected resentments and stewed over life's vicissitudes and let all of that get in his own way. He turned violating norms into a point of pride. In other words, it was sort of the opposite of vulnerable. And it probably won't surprise you to know that a lot of people in DOC's custody fit this bill too, angry and alienated and aggressive. But John Newton changed. He was pressed into the Royal Navy, the British Royal Navy, meaning that he was forced into it as a punishment, almost like a prison, largely because he couldn't behave in society. And later he sailed the Atlantic as part of the slave trade, which was also a trade that was stewed in sin and attracted defiant and damaged and dangerous men. But he eventually faced a storm at sea that was so violent that defiance wasn't enough. And vulnerability was the only answer. And he found, in that moment, the grace that saved a wretch like me. Ultimately, I think that vulnerability is a recognition that we're all a little bit broken, that we all need each other, that we all need help. So, although we live in a secular world and the First Amendment ensures no law respecting an establishment of religion, I think that our system believes in that grace that Newton described. That grace that everybody up here just sang about. We believe that forgiveness and redemption and rehabilitation are possible, and we believe that we have an obligation to help each other. And this is true of a recovery through a 12-step program like AA, and the recognition that we all have failings, that we all need help, that we've all transgressed, that we all can atone, that we all can change. It's true of groups, incredibly important groups that are partners for us at the DOC, like Turning Point, which notes that recovery isn't just about stopping, it's about rebuilding your life, your relationships, your routines, your sense of who you are. And all those things I want to be true for the Department of Corrections too. I'm incredibly proud to partner with groups like Turning Point to host AA programs and to have begun the work with those 9 first vulnerable graduates of a deeper kind of treatment. Because DOC provides court-ordered consequence, but we have to provide it with compassion. In the language of the Vermont statute that guides our work, we render treatment to offenders with the goal of achieving their successful return and participation as societies of the state and community. And in so many cases, that treatment goes beyond the high school degrees or college courses that we offer, although those are important too, and it instead addresses the recovery and sobriety to which so many of the attendees here in this room in Essex have dedicated your work and your lives. And I want to thank all of you for that today. I want to hope that you will continue to be partners with us as we want to be partners with you. And I want to thank you for the chance to speak with you all today.
Thank you, John. We're going to bring 2 people up together. First, won't you please welcome the Chief United States District Judge of the United States District Court for the District of Vermont. She's the author of the American Bar Association's Business and Commercial Litigation in Federal Courts, and a member of the American Law Institute and American Bar Association Fellow, Chief Justice Christina Rice, along with Mark Redman, the Executive Director of Spectrum Youth and Family Services. He's been doing that since 2003. He's worked in the field of caring for homeless and at-risk youth for over 45 years, starting as a full-time volunteer at Covenant House in Times Square in 1981. I've heard that story many times, Mark. Mark lives in Essex with his wife, Mary Beth, and son, Liam. He's my friend. Won't you please welcome Mark Redman and Chief Judge Christina Rice.
I just told Charlie, he should have said I was 10 years old when I started 45 years ago. So the first thing, first of all, thank you, Melinda and Brad, for inviting us. First thing you should know is Judge Rice and I are friends. We go to the same church together. That's how we know each other. So I'm going to call her Chris. I'm not going to call her Judge. And our buildings are right next to each other on Elmwood Avenue. So this all started with us going for lunchtime walks and just informally saying, you know, what are you seeing at Spectrum and what are you seeing in the courts? And where are the similarities? So we didn't even start with substance abuse. We started with mental health, and we both could see that if someone was in mental health distress and went to the facility out in Berlin and did well, they were then discharged to an 8-bed facility in Middlesex, which was 2 FEMA trailers welded together, surrounded by razor wire. So we got the right people in the room. We knew Al Gobey worked for the governor then. Al Gobey got involved, and we got in to see Governor Scott, and Governor Scott promised he would work on that, and he did. So they doubled the number of beds, and now they're in a beautiful facility called Riverview. So then we'd go for more walks. What else are you seeing? In Spectrum, what are you seeing in the courts? One of the things we're seeing is, again, with mental health, if someone is in distress, they go up to the ER and they can be there for days on end. So we heard about what's being done in Alameda County, California, and we got a group of people, all informal now. Bob Bick from Howard Center. We got people from Al Gobey was still working for the governor. And we created the Urgent Mental Health Care Center, which Howard Center, I'm so grateful, stepped up and runs that now. That's been a great success. More walks at lunch. What are you seeing in the courts? What are you seeing at Spectrum? Substance abuse. If somebody, especially if they have use of xylazine or fentanyl or opiates, they're often being sent, not all the time, but often sent for detox, where they get 2 or 3 weeks of care, and then they're sent back to the same hotels or the same neighborhoods where they were using, and they're relapsing immediately. So same thing, let's get a group of people together, informal. We never had a committee title or a charter or a website. It was informal people. Let's get Dawn Tatro from Janet's Promise in the room. Let's get Dave Regal in the room from down Foundation of Recovery. Let's use their expertise. Let's find out what's going on in other states. We looked at New Hampshire, where someone could go from detox, then to a partial hospitalization program, then to a sober home. We could do it better. So Jenny Samuelson, I give her tremendous credit. She's the Secretary of Human Services. She did such a great job advocating for us. So now we have Valley Vista and McGee House stepped up, and they created more beds, 30 beds. So now when you leave detox, you could go for 90 days to a 30-bed facility. Have we fixed? Yeah, give them a shout out. I think this is important. There were a number of people who said to us, no, you can't look at just one part of the system. You need to look at the whole system. Somebody does need to look at the whole system, but our mission was, how can we make it better? How can we get the right people in the room and make things better? Have we fixed the entire substance abuse system of care? No. Have we made it better? Yes. And that's what's important, and that's what we focused on. And then the last thing before Chris goes up is there can be this Vermont exceptionalism where we do it best, we're the rival of the and we do a lot of really good things in Vermont, in social services, substance abuse, addiction, everything. But I feel like we can always learn, we can always see who else is doing things better, and how can we improve it so we can help more and more people in Vermont. Thank you, and Judge Rice is going to step right up.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's not often that I get to, thank you, and now just lift up the step to get to talk directly to the recovery community. I have lots to say, but I thought what would be most useful would be to tell you what I see from a judge's perspective and why long-term beds were so important to me personally and to me as a judge. Whether you believe it or not, judges want to do a good job. They want to believe they're not just a cog in the criminal justice system processing cases and people like sausage and assembly line. You don't get into the judge of a job without caring, because you can make a lot more money as an attorney with a lot less of aggravation. Attorneys get to pick their clients and cases, judges do not. It's really hard as both a judge and a person to see someone at their lowest point, to feel their misery, their defeat, and for many, their shame and humiliation. Often, every single bridge in that person's life has been burnt to a crisp, and they are in real danger from themselves and the drug trafficking world. That's not enjoyable to see. It weighs on you. And you don't get to go home and talk to your family and friends and say, this is what I saw today. This is what I heard. And it's not because it's private, it's very much public, but it's not the kind of thing you share with a family member after their own long days at work and school. So you keep it inside, and it's tough stuff. It would be super depressing to be a judge if you didn't get to see some of those people turn around their entire lives. You see somebody get their health back and heal inside and out, reunite with family, go back to work, have stable housing, have new friends and support systems, ultimately become pro-social members of the community. That's a beautiful thing to witness, and I am so honored that I get to see that. So as both a judge and a person, that's what gets me going back to work every day. If you land in federal court, you are generally in deep trouble, and you are looking at serious time. For many people, it's an incredible wake-up call. I can't count the number of people who have told me that getting arrested by the feds saved their lives, because they needed someone to say, stop, now, I mean it. And I don't say this because I think it's a great thing to get arrested and put in jail. I don't believe that at all. I'm saying it because the people I see are usually good people who've gotten in way over their heads. And the vast majority of them are highly motivated to turn things around. If they do it, sometimes they avoid jail entirely. Before the long-term beds came online, when I sent people to treatment, they were often gung-ho to go because they had usually spent some time in jail and they were like, I certainly don't want to stay here. And they would go to a 2-week program and they would do well. And we would get reports, yes, total engaged, all tests are negative, this is great, they're good to go. Off they'd go, and the problems would start soon thereafter, because they would go right back to the people, places, and things they just left. 14 days, 21 days, we're just not doing it. And frequently people would go on a bender or abscond. We'd send out the marshals, they'd get picked up, they'd detox in jail, a truly miserable experience. And then they would want to go back to treatment, and we would want to let them, and the whole cycle would start over again. And we called it wash, rinse, and repeat. And that's what's motivated me as a person and a judge to speak up and say, this isn't working. We need to do things differently. As Mark said, the long-term beds don't solve every problem, but our group vowed to take real action, make real progress. We went straight to the governor. We told him what we thought we were seeing, and then we engaged with every part of the recovery and treatment community that we could find. Without exception, people were happy to engage. They wanted to help us. They saw the same cracks and gaps in the recovery continuum that we did. We had great partners that includes people here who are here today. So my message to you is that if you want to change something in Vermont, you can do it. It's not out of reach. I would encourage each of you to roll up your sleeves and get to work. It's been one of the most rewarding experience I've ever had as a person and a judge. And I thank you for letting me talk to you. It's been an honor.
Our next speaker is the Vice President of Medical and Clinical Services at Valley Vista Addiction Treatment Center. He's driven by a deep commitment to human-centered care, quality improvement, and creating environments where both patient and providers thrive. He's passionate about mentoring emerging healthcare professionals and fostering cross-functional collaboration to drive lasting impact. Won't you please welcome Kevin Hamill.
So I brought my own fan club, if you couldn't tell. So, but I think first, thank you guys so much for having me here again. It's an amazing group to work with, but I do want to recognize, we were here last year, we did not have our additional beds open. We've been working with the team to get this open, which opened on December 17th, and I know that we have some current people and some graduates that are here in the room and would love to recognize them. So if you want to stand up, I would love for you guys to stand up and be recognized for the work that So it's been an amazing experience to open this program and has made a huge difference in just the way that I look at the treatment services that we have here in Vermont. So, when I look around the room, we have so many people from so many different walks, to people that are in early recovery, to families that are here that are experiencing their family members in active addiction and wondering where to turn. And there's so many resources here for everybody. And that's what brings us all together today, right? Is we're all here because we have a purpose, and it's hope. Because if it wasn't for hope, then none of us would be here. The theme of this conference is coming together, and I can't think of a better description of what recovery requires. Recovery doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when treatment providers, recovery organizations, employers, families, peers, state agencies, and communities come together around a shared goal, and that's helping people to build better lives. Our 3.1 program, we have the privilege of seeing that every day. We opened the doors on December 17th, 2025, with a goal of having 20 patients in the first 90 days. We filled our beds in the first 2 weeks. Since December 17th, we have admitted 97 people into the program. We have, and we've also graduated 84 people from the program. So when I share those numbers with people, it's not to be a statistic of what we're doing. It's to show that, these are people, right? These are mothers and fathers, sons, daughters, brothers and sisters. They're individuals who decided to take a chance on themselves and begin a new chapter of their lives. Today, our census stands at 27 residents. Of the people that we have, of the 27 people, we have 18 people working full-time jobs. And where was I? When people think about residential treatment, they don't always picture somebody getting up in the morning and going to work, coming back to treatment, attending groups, building recovery supports, and planning for their futures. But that's exactly what our residents are doing. And sometimes I look at them and I look at what they're balancing in a day, and they're managing much more than probably most of us. We have recently been given the opportunity by Dale to increase our licenses from 27 beds to 30 beds. And those 3 additional beds might not seem like a lot of beds, but for 3 individuals looking for a place to start recovery, those 3 beds mean everything. To 3 families waiting for a phone call, it means the world. It represents hope, and it represents that their family member is able to get that additional treatment that they need. Those beds are filling quickly. We have 3 admissions planned next week that will bring us up to a census of 30. That tells us something important, right? There's still a need there. Across Vermont, we have recognized the need for additional beds. We're going to hear from Dave soon about work that's happening at V4. Serenity House has 2 locations providing 3.1 services, but the need is still there, and we need to do more. We know that recovery is much more than a bed, right? It happens through purpose, it happens through connection, it happens through community. And one of my favorite examples of how it happens is the work that's done in our kitchen. The incredible meals being served every day and prepared by our residents, right? They take pride in planning these meals, preparing the food, and serving their peers. And what starts at making breakfast, lunch, or dinner quickly becomes something much more important. It becomes responsibility, it becomes teamwork, and it becomes confidence and purpose. And to be honest, they definitely can give me some cooking lessons. But right, that's exactly the point, because to these people arriving in treatment, they carry shame, self-doubt, and belief that they have nothing to offer. And then they discover that they can contribute. They can create something, they can help others, they can take pride in their work. Recovery isn't just happening in counseling sessions. It happens in that kitchen. It happens when somebody goes to work every day. It happens when they go to a Taekwondo lesson or a community AA meeting. It happens every time somebody realizes that they still have value and purpose. We have been fortunate to partner with incredible organizations and community members to bring education, recovery support, and outside speakers into our program. Through those partnerships, because no organization can do this work alone. And while we're incredibly proud of the progress we've made, I'll also be the first to tell you we need more. More beds, more support, more community partnerships, and more pathways to hope. This is why we are also preparing to expand our continuum of care even further. In the near future, Valley Vista will be offering wraparound services designated specifically to bridge the gap between residential treatment and long-term community-based care. These services will include counseling, MAT, psychiatric services, recovery groups, and support for urgent healthcare needs. Because one of the biggest challenges people face is not getting into treatment. It's what happens after treatment. When someone is motivated, engaged, and ready for recovery, we cannot afford to lose momentum simply because they're waiting for those services. Our goal is simple. Keep people connected, keep people supported, keep people moving forward. I'm going to close with this. People often ask me what gives me hope, and the answer is simple. I see hope every day. I see hope when someone walks through our doors, scared but willing to try. I see it in residents who get their first paychecks after years of struggling. I see it in family members who are finally beginning to heal. I see it in our graduates who leave treatment believing in themselves again. And I see it in rooms like this, rooms full of people that show up every day to do the right thing. I've seen it, our staff have seen it, people sitting beside you today have seen it. Recovery is possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is one of VFOR's co-founders. He serves as VFOR's executive director and has been in recovery since 2007. He was a founding board member of the Vermont Alliance for Recovery Residences, which brought national certification standards to Vermont. Through his work, he continues to be a passionate advocate for recovery and housing solutions that support individuals on their path to healing and independence. Won't you please welcome David Riegel.
Hi, everybody. I'm here today because of hope. And I promise you, as much as we've heard about it, it was not coordinated by any of us. I believe there are 3 ingredients to hope. First, somebody has to have enough physical and emotional safety to be able to dream. Second, you have to have the ability to see a path with a reasonable outcome of success. Third, we have to have a belief in the systems, in our supports, and in ourselves that allow us to think that we can weather the storm and we can make it through the ups and the downs of the journey to finally achieve our goal. And when one of these things is missing, we have hopelessness. Hopelessness had a lot to do with me entering inpatient treatment. My name's David Riegel, and I am a person in long-term recovery. And to me, that means that I haven't had a mood or mind-altering substance ingested into my body that was not prescribed by a doctor since January 11th of 2007. My life was Groundhog Day. For those of you that don't understand that reference, after this is all done, find somebody over the age of 40 and they'll help you understand what it means. But I could not possibly make a commitment when I was in active substance use, which most of the time meant that I just didn't want to wake up the next morning feeling the way that I woke up this morning, and keep it, right? I just could not do it day in and day out. I'm fortunate to come from a background and to have a support system that allowed me to regain hope after inpatient treatment relatively quickly. And that's not true for everybody who has been through the same circumstances that I've been through. Today, I'm filled with hope. Hope as I see Recovery Partners of Vermont navigate a leadership change, committed to coming out the other side stronger than they have been going through it. Hope as I watch state and partners deploy millions of dollars to strengthen our system of care through recovery residences. Hope as I look out and see all of you who are leaders in this space, who are committed to one person at a time, meeting them where they are, and helping them to achieve the life skills and the recovery capital to be able to dare to dream again. It's the work that you all do. It is the system that we are building together that allows Vermonters like me to be able to dare to dream again. To be able to see a path to success and help somebody like me to be able to keep going when things get really hard. I am so grateful to be able to look out and be a part of this community. I am overwhelmed with the feeling of hope. And I hope that when you all leave here today, you are too. Thank you.
Jenna, her parents and brother experienced firsthand emotions, trauma, sorrow, and emptiness that so often occur at every level of the ongoing struggle against the opioid crisis. So instead of succumbing to hopelessness and despair, Greg and Dawn decided to turn to hope. They created a community of sober housing, treatment, and workforce development, creating a program that should produce revenue to help support itself. And since then, they have partnered with Lila Bennett and team to open VTAR, Certified Recovery Residence, Ben's House, a sober living and workforce development program situated on 11 acres of open fields, gardens, and vast frontage on the pristine Derby Pond. Won't you please welcome Don Tatro.
Wow, I can't believe how much this has grown. I'm Jenna's mom, and Jenna's Promise was born from the greatest loss of our family's life. The loss of Jenna to addiction, to a fatal overdose. After losing Jenna, I knew we had to do something different. We couldn't simply treat addiction and then send someone back out, the same circumstances that contributed to their struggles. What makes Jenna's Promise different is that we look at the whole person. We provide safe housing, trauma treatment, health and wellness, education, and workforce development. But more importantly, we help people believe in themselves. We help them rebuild relationships. They reconnect with their families, and they find meaningful work, and they create a life they truly want to live. We meet people where they're at with compassion and love and accountability, and then we walk beside them to rebuild their lives. I believe that's why Jenna's Promise works, because recovery isn't just about stopping the use of drugs or alcohol. It's about giving people the tools and support and the opportunity to rebuild a meaningful life. I truly believe that if Jenna was here today, this would be exactly what she would want. And I see so many partners that have helped us make Jenna successful. And I look at Judge Rice and Mark, Commissioner Monica. It is connection, and we all work together. And like Judge Rice said, I can tell you 100% of the women that have come to Jenna's said going to corrections saved their life. And it just broke a cycle. And joining with this force, we have been able to get 3.1s into the state. And that's only the beginning. We have so much more to do. And now we have Ben's House. And what an amazing thing to have. We have men that can go into the same treatment that women do at Jenna's Promise.
but it's something so different. Like we can take, how many times have you seen a husband or a wife or spouse, one gets better, the other doesn't, they both fail. We can take husbands and wives or spouses, significant others, and we can treat them both. We can rebuild families. That's something so unique that not many people have. Right now we have a husband and wife situation, and it is so amazing to see them build a family back. But you know, it's just, it wouldn't happen without, you know, when we find someone comes and calls and needs help, and then we call either Chad or Kevin, and they get them into treatment, and then the process starts. It's about making all those connections till we finally get people that can stand on their own. And I'm just really grateful to be part of this community and all these partners, because we truly do make a difference together. I have one other thing. I've been part of this Intro to Light, Into Light program. This project began when a mother lost her son. In her grief, she didn't want him to be remembered only for how he died. She wanted him to be remembered for who he was in the life. From Hope, Into Light was created. It honors the lives and people we have lost by sharing photographs and their personal stories. These stories show who they were, their families, their dreams, their struggles, and the people who loved them. This exhibit can be displayed in any community, school, organization, and other places where people can pause, look into their faces, and hear their stories. This project is in front when you walk in today. And Daniel Franklin, you can see him. And you can arrange to have this exhibit come to your recovery place or a hospital or corrections or whatever. It gives so much help or hope. We cannot change what happened to them, but we can make sure that they are not forgotten. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Quick reminder, we've got the breakout rooms. Those are going to be opening up shortly, and lunch is available, of course, right here at the concession stands. And as I speak, I'm sure Brad and Melinda have a few closing words to say, and they're probably going to give themselves a couple of days off and start working on the 6th annual.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, go for it. Let's give them a big hand and give yourselves a big round of applause for being here today. Come on.
So we're not going to take long because we know it's time to close out. First, we want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors, everybody who attended, all of the help, all of the volunteers. I'm also going to, so we have an award. Brad and I started giving out an annual award to people that just shine in a way that we know is a critical part of the foundation that keeps movement happening in the recovery community. So a couple years ago, we had honored Laura Allman with WCAX because she was stepping up to the plate to do a recovery series in the state of Vermont and help us to really get out in the media, not only that we know there's problems, but solutions and stories and people getting to see the miracles of people that are in recovery. We've also honored Monica Hutt because she has been with us since the beginning with being that cheerleader and being that strength that we need to know that we're doing something great. So we have a third recipient. Before I do that, and I didn't tell Brad I'm going to do this too, but there's one person I want to thank, and I know she'll probably slap me. I might even lose my job, but I'm going to thank my boss because quite honestly, I would not have the self-care and the health I have if it wasn't for Karen. So Karen, thank you. That's my mom, thank you. I hear she doesn't listen to her mother, but she listens to Karen. So now to back up on the annual award, this is a person, Brad and I talked about it, and just a person that I don't even know if she realized how much she was on our radar before we connected. And I have to say, for me, the tipping point of selecting this person, for me personally, was that I was talking to an individual in the emergency department in a bed. He was in the psychiatric area on a lockdown, waiting to go to Brattleboro Retreat. He had never been to any residential treatment program for mental health or substance use because he basically spent his life incarcerated. He had grown up in various foster homes, had not good experiences, and just never had somebody to believe in him and the hope and the idea that maybe he could have a different life. And he was supposed to be serving many more years than he did, and yet here he was. And of all the people, he said to me, who saved my life was Judge Rice. So Judge Rice, you're going to be our award recipient.
So the 5th Annual Addiction Summit presented to Honorable Christina Rice, Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the District of Vermont, with appreciation for your compassion, empathy, integrity, and courage. You matter and make a difference. Gratefully, Melinda White, Brad Ferlin.
I'm really honored. This is a labor of love. I love people, and I get the love back, and you wouldn't think that would be something that I would find in my walk of life, but it keeps me going. And it is one person at a time saying, I believe you, I know you can do it, let's turn this around together. So thank you.
So one last quick announcement. We unfortunately had somebody there's a lot of people that were sick, couldn't make it today, and one of them was going to be our first breakout room. So Chief Getchell is not able to be here, but our first breakout room will be at 1:30, the recovery panel breakout room, and then there's a schedule. Just make sure you look on the doors because it might be breakout room number 4, but there's no door number 4, so just check on to see the actual physical location.
And you've heard her name, but Secretary Samuelson, want to recognize again. She's been amazing and part of all of putting the puzzle pieces together. If you want to stand, Secretary. So, and Monica Hutt said the word grateful, and we are so grateful for all of you for doing everything that you do. And there was an old Boy Scout campfire song that we sang, and I'm not going to sing this because, but it's, we're all together again, we're here, we're here. We're all together again, we're here. We don't know when, we'll be together again. We're all together again, we're here. Thank you all. guys feel like doing a quick road trip or across the street to there's an order there to pick up?
Give you a schedule.
Joe and Joe. Thank you. Hi there. How are you? Great. How are you doing? Good, good. What's going on? Well, I looked at it. Looked like you had quite a line up there today. Yeah. Excellent. A lot of the state officials. We didn't have politicians today. Yeah. Podium, but we had Secretary. Yeah. Secretary. She's here. Commissioner Murad. Commissioner of Health and
whatever. So we have a form on our website. And you can just reach out. Perfect. I might do like a remembrance month where we do remember. And just, I'll reach out to you. I just think it's awesome. It's great. Cool, man. Thank you. Thank you.
for people that work for all different recoveries. That's the.
Come down there and like swing a hammer for a little bit. Like stay for a week. Just like honestly.
Be like, do you have any scholarships?
Seriously, can I cook? I'll come and I know. I got 2 little ones and I live in Heinsberg.
I have 3 little ones, so we can do it.
Bless your
We
heart.
can do it.
It's crazy. After 2, I was like, no way.
Actually, the third was the easiest.
I'll
Like,
travel
it's like
for
it's
you.
all the same.
You have 4? I said I'll travel for you. Oh, totally. I don't have any kids. Okay, good. Good on you, man.
That's horrifying.
You look that way. You look so refreshed.
Lights are off.
I'm just all favor of these. Yep.
I think too, it's that even if it now, it's a big cameras. Oh, great. I know. That's okay. You want us to move some stuff?
Too much reflection. Thank you.
I am Brad Ferlin, co-chair and co-founder of what is now the 5th annual Substance Use Addiction Summit. One of our goals is more awareness with our legislative representatives, and lo and behold, here's Senator Thomas Chittenden at the summit joining us. So a lot of opportunity here today to learn about recovery and all the pathways that people can improve their life. Corrections. We honored Christina Rice, Judge Rice, today because she really gets it. She's helped create not only a good judicial system, but beds for people who need recovery.
Thanks for organizing this, Brad. In the legislature, we really have to vote on everything, and it's important to understand issues that we're not familiar with from our day lives. So coming here and talking to experts that have a lot to say about what we could be doing better in the state has been a great opportunity. So thanks for all that you do to organize this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here and other legislators. I know that there's been some candidates for office and a lot of incumbents, so we're happy about that. I will say, in closing, this is our 5th year of the Substance Use Addiction Summit, Melinda White and myself as co-chairs, and we're really feeling like the ball is moving in the right direction with recovery, and we just hope that if people need help, they remember one very important thing. There is always hope. Always, always, always. Reach out and it's there.
Name of one of our Department of Corrections commissioners was pulled.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any relation. We're like 5 minutes from here. Well, they're free.
She's like, ask them, I don't know
Unemployment and all of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, feel free to take a card or brochure or whatever and
guys.
share the info. Take anything you want. This all has like our name on it, so if you forget.
Yeah, you'll always remember who to call.
Very cool.
Able to come down and do orientations with each talk that we do.
Oh, we were doors.
Yeah, that's part of what we do is we go to
That'd be great.
a little bit further out. So we find love.
Brings back the nostalgia. Oh, yes. Thank you.
But at the end of the day, when you put executive orders or resolutions in place, it provides the community the transparency that they need so they fully understand.
And you're welcome to go ahead and take one of those. I keep one in my truck.
Yeah. Bad idea. I got a kid that's
Is your son in recovery?
Yeah.
How far?
The facilities that are doing it. Because we intend to roll it out in, it's going to get rolled out as a CF too. So Southern, we're just waiting to hire the person that they have identified as a clinician.
Like I said, I know the basis of it.
And I can look you up. His name is Mark Douglas. I know he's on vacation right
jot it down when I get back to my booth.
Okay. Yeah, he will.
I called my husband after a meeting with her on Zoom where she managed to and I just said, "Hon, you're doing recovery coaching certification." I said,
Oh, that's the other Chip, yeah. I know this Chip, yeah. I had him on when I was on WDEV. I had him on there. He did his first run. And I think he keeps going, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh, it's so neat. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Nice to meet you, bud. Thank you.
"Hi, how are you?" "Doing well, thank you." "I'm Andrea. It's nice to meet you." September. So I'm going to send an email out. I've got a number of employers who similar to you, like, we definitely want to do it. And, it's like tricky to get all of everything sort of set up and get it on the agendas. August 15th is Blue Pop Rocks. Okay. Nothing for Brown.
But I had permanently medically retired, and so going back into the uniform wasn't possible, and then we found all of these other kind of avenues where we could continue to serve the population. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. Really good answer.
Hi, Mom.
didn't. But she did.
Yeah, we're gonna probably right now we also do our grantees every 2 weeks.
Not necessarily, no.
But there might also be other, not
Oh, I'm going to get some food now. Oh, this is Charlie Shooter's.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Sarah.
Sarah's going to be on the news. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I can only imagine how.
Really just trying to make things accessible.
When somebody knows they're sick, they can just go over there and get. How much overlap do you have with ED future? Intentional events? Yeah, that's interesting. Really? See? Yeah.
Great sock. Stay here just for a second. This will help my advertise. See this? You guys are fantastic. Yeah, so formerly Turning Point Madison. And so Chip Piper, who's the founder, he's standing over there with an orange shirt on too, but he's on the board of directors.
We don't know. I'm flying in on Saturday. So I just want to stay at the hotel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll pull it out.
I hated it. You didn't want to pay for it. I did 52 days residential there.
So Mike, but he's like our admission guy. So if you ever have any questions, you can just contact him, call him, and say, "Here's this scenario," and help you to get it.
Okay. I'm assuming this is some kind of application process. Got my coffee in there. Thank you for doing this. This is great.
Cell phones, or clothing, things like that. So things that will make it easier to receive recovery. Yeah, just refer them to the emergency department. You just have to be checked in as a patient to be like initiated into the program. But as soon as you're in the ER, we can help you with or help them with getting.
Can I have my food?
Sorry.
They need it. They need it now.
I know, like our team leader did bring it up. She said, oh yeah, someone from Valley Vista reached out and said that they're interested in coming to talk about their programming. So
Hello, how you doing? What? We're Inspire Now. We're a pregnancy resource center.
thank you.
There, I do care that I don't care if you're in the room, but I care that you're.
To Guy Page's church.
Just the basics of the Bible, going through that.
I'm gonna try to like get something.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm so nervous.
Just let me know anything I can do. Yeah, yeah. And I just think testimony is. That's okay.
Love to know what
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to
Tracy's Buddy has a lot of school. He said he's here.
speaking to
That's what keeps our patients safe. You guys.
It was great meeting you all. Nice seeing you too.
Hey, Dr. B, look up. Smile.
Hi. I was like, where?
Sorry, how are you? Like, good morning. Passive aggressive.
Hi there.
Hi, we're here with COTS, Committee on Temporary Shelter. We are happy to be here today participating in this event. We support substance-free shelter spaces, and we support recovery and folks really getting a chance to get into permanent housing. We're also happy to be sitting next to our partners at Turning Point, who are now embedded in our shelter programs and in our daytime drop-in. So this event is important to us. We are working to create a recovery environment in the day station and in the COTS Way station.
Hi, my name is Jessica Fike. I am here with Champlain Toxicology Lab at the Coming Together Summit. We're very excited to be here. Here is Rick from Valley Vista.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rick DiStefano. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-owner of Valley Vista. Happy to be at this event, 5th year, wonderful event, getting bigger every year. Certainly thanks to Melinda and her crew to put this wonderful opportunity in front of all of us. Thank you.
She's going to do it too. There we go.
Hi, I'm Andrea Balek with Champlain Toxicology Lab. I'm the Lab Operations Manager. We're here today at Coming Together, learning about all the wonderful organizations and support that's out there for folks.
Good morning. My name is Terry Barnabas. I'm a physician. I'm the owner of Champlain Toxicology Lab, and we're really happy to be here for this amazing event, supporting the community, and proud to be a sponsor of this event, and can't wait for next year.
It's the 5th annual Coming Together Substance Use Addiction Summit, and I was just looking at the agenda, and I am so glad to be here, at the summit itself here. It is the annual Coming Together Summit. It's it's really important that the Vermont Racial Justice Alliance is here at the summit. The reason why is everything that we've been doing. It's been all about how do we get after this whole idea of health equity. We know that there are inequities across all systems of state government. We've already established that. We also understand that they're manifesting themselves with substance misuse and prevention programming, as well as mental health programming. So yeah, we want to be here because everybody is not okay until everybody is okay. So thanks a lot for joining us here at the summit. We're having a great time today. What an amazing group of folks who are here. Thank you for supporting the Vermont Racial Justice Alliance. We'll see you at First African Landing Day.
My name's Dave Regal, and I work for Vermont Foundational Recovery. And I'm here with Liz Sanderson with the Vermont Alliance for Recovery Residences. We're incredibly excited to be able to share and talk about the state's initiative and priority to scale certified recovery residences in the state of Vermont. We're looking at about 250 currently certified recovery residences, and with the investment of the Rural Healthcare Transformation Funding, the state's goal is to move up to about 400 certified recovery residence beds by 2030. It's going to be a huge endeavor. Many organizations are involved. We couldn't be happier to be lead organizations in the project, and just really excited to see where the substance use disorder system of care goes as we move forward.
Oh my God. This is an amazing event. And I was here when they first started it, and I can't believe how it's grown. And unbelievable to see the connection, because one person can't do it alone, but as a group, we do amazing things together. And that's why this state is making so many changes, because of all the partners that we work with.
I have to say, this is the 5th annual Substance Use Addiction Summit, and it has been the best. We have had so much fun. There has been a wonderful attendance. The speakers were dynamite. The attendants and the people in recovery that were holding up their signs to share their stories, it was just breathtaking to see all those miracles in one room at the same time, celebrating their recovery. We're blessed for all of the booth organizations that have showed up, for the wonderful speakers we had, and we're so excited to see this going. I believe it's going to last until the end of time.